Hello there, Lake County Library. This is Christy Lewis from the Lakeport branch, and today I am bringing to you a book haul. We've got some fantasy, we have some nonfiction, and we have a thriller. Before I jump into it, I just want to let you know that you can order any of these for free down below. We have a link to our library catalog, where you can also find our website, which has all kinds of free services and cool things that you can download, including these books in different formats like ebook and audiobook, and there's classes you can take. There's documentaries you can watch. I just found Train to Busan, which was a Korean thriller movie that I've been wanting to watch for forever, and it's on Canopy. Thank you. With no commercials. It's great. So definitely check that out. You might find a hidden gem that you've been really looking forward to. Now let's jump into the book haul. So first of all, we have From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is a fantasy romance for adults. And this is book one in a series of 4 books, so a quartet. It's billed for fans of Sarah J. Maas and Laura Thalassa. The protagonist is a woman named Poppy, and her life has never been her own because she is what's called a maiden. And I think in this case, she's the only maiden in the kingdom. She's very important. The fate of the kingdom rests on her shoulders. Her responsibilities sound kind of similar to like a nun in a cloister, which is get in there, remain holy. Don't interact with a whole lot of people. So she's basically waiting for the day of her ascension, and she has a bunch of guards and people around her who are supposed to be making sure that she does nothing to risk the kingdom, because she has to be found worthy of the gods. But she honestly doesn't really want that to be her fate. She would much rather be a warrior out with the guardians. But when a guardian comes in named Hawk, he kind of distracts her because, let's be honest, he's beautiful. But he also really challenges her beliefs. Even though he's supposed to ensure her ascension, I would be very curious to know what ends up happening in regards to that in this book. So there's also some kind of other kingdom rising up that poses a danger to Poppy and to her kingdom. So I don't really know what that's about, but I'm interested. It sounds interesting. It sounds interesting to you. You can get it for free down below. It is also available on ebook, and Blood and Ash was published in 2020. Next, we have High Stakes by Iris Johansen. This is a thriller put out by the #1 New York Times best-selling, super prolific author. So High Stakes is a thriller about a gambler named Logan Tanner who takes risks with a nerve of steel because he does it every day. He has racked up a fortune, but his past life as an extractor was dark and violent. That world catches up to him when a beautiful woman's life is at risk between 2 Russian mafia bosses. When he is offered valuable intel in exchange for getting Laura to safety, they set off toward a series of deadly confrontations. That sounds interesting. If it sounds good to you, you could check it out for free down below. High Stakes was published in 2021 by Grand Central Publishing. Next, we have Otherlands, A Journey Through Earth's Extinct Worlds by Thomas Halliday. I really love this cover. I think it's very impactful. You see the bird sort of thing with like tiny wings, humongous legs, and that giant beak. I mean, you can just tell that this is not an ordinary bird from our time. This is definitely from an other land. So the summary of this work calls Otherlands a surprisingly emotional narrative about the persistence of life, the fragility of seemingly permanent ecosystems, and the scope of deep time, all of which have something to tell us about our current crisis. So this is a nonfiction book about different periods in the Earth's history and how the Earth went through those periods and what changed and how it changed and what we can maybe expect in our time of climate change. So he brings 16 fossil sites to life, which sounds fun. Honestly, that sounds fun. And he imaginatively visits Antarctica, Kenya, and the Mediterranean Sea, and he's bringing readers along with him. Sounds very interesting. If it sounds interesting to you, you can order it for free down below. It's also available on ebook, and Otherlands was published by Random House in 2022. Next, we have another nonfiction book. It is called We Don't Know Ourselves by Fintan O'Toole, and the subtitle is A Personal History of Modern Ireland. So this is a memoir/national history of modernization in Ireland. So the author was born in the year that this revolution began, 1958, when the government opened the country to foreign investment in popular culture because all of their young people were leaving. That is what began a decades-long ongoing experiment with Irish national identity. O'Toole narrates the collapse of the all-powerful Catholic Church and the horrific violence of the Troubles in northern England, which led most Irish to reject violent nationalism. It also covers how disastrous the 2008 financial crisis was for Ireland because it trusted so much in America's economy. And so according to Wikipedia, the author, Fintan O'Toole, is a polemicist, literary editor, journalist, and drama critic for the Irish Times, which he has written for since 1988. And he was a drama critic for the New York Daily News from 1997 to 2001, and he's a regular contributor to the New York Review of Books. This book won the 2021 Ann Post Nonfiction Book of the Year. So from the judges, they had said, most remarkable Irish nonfiction book I've read in the last 10 years. So it sounds like it's pretty big in the study of Irish history. If We Don't Know Ourselves sounds good to you, you can get it for free down below. There is an audiobook version available, and it was published by Live Right in 2022. Finally, we have Gallant by V.E. Schwab, which is a young adult fantasy. This was an instant New York Times bestseller from the author of A Darker Shade of Magic and The Invisible Life of Addie Larue. So listen to this description. I love this. Everything casts a shadow, even the world we live in. And as with every shadow, there's a place where it must touch, a seam where the shadow meets its source. So what this is hinting towards is that the manor house that is called Gallant in this book has a shadow version of itself, and our main character discovers it. So we are following Olivia Pryor, who grew up in a girls' school, but when she's invited back to the Gallant Manor, she heads on back and is very excited because she's always wanted to belong somewhere. So even when it turns out that nobody really invited her or expected her there, and actually her cousin is very not happy she's there. He's kind of hostile. She's like, too bad. I'm here for good. This is my home now. So, and then she discovers the other world of Gallant. Sounds very interesting. And it turns out that her family has a lot of history. And in this other world, the manor is crumbling. And it seems very dark. And she has to decide which part of it she wants to stay in. Where does she want to belong? Where her father potentially came from, or the world where nobody really cares about her. So this has got some gothic horror vibes, and it's compared to Neil Gaiman and Shirley Jackson. If Gallant sounds good to you, you can order for free down below. It was published by Green Willow Books in 2022. Okay guys, that is it. I hope that you enjoyed this book haul. Thanks so much for watching. Let us know down below if you're going to order any of these books or if you have any questions, because we really love to hear from you. And make sure that you give the video a like in the corner and subscribe if you want to make sure you are notified anytime we post new videos, and hit that notifications bell for good measure. Okay guys, take care, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye bye.